straighten some stuff up here. Ugh. And I want you to just begin to inhale while you lay on your back. Those nice deep breaths. And exhale fully. And just allow your body to start to release into the floor. Feeling your rib cage begin to release. Getting in touch with that lordotic curve, that natural curve at the base of the spine that we worked quite a bit with on Monday. And I'd like you to take your peace fingers on both sides and place it right on top of your hip bones. Your bony protrusion, it's your ASIS technically. And then reach around with your thumbs and maybe get where your SI joints are, or beside the SI joints. I know I don't reach right around. Or you can take one side only and reach the other hand under to get to the SI joint. And just kind of take a slight visual of how they line up. So that bone, your top of this bone at your hip, at your pelvis, should be lining up vertically with your SI joint in the low back. So the bony protrusion right here beside the sacrum. To give you a little clue of where that might be. So if you kind of feel yourself out in space, and you find that that's not in a straight line, tuck your tail or roll the other way to get there. And again, we're going to find that neutral spine. And then bring your shoulders up towards your ears and give them a big squeeze. And then reach towards your feet. Reach as long as you can toward the feet. And then come into that natural position and tuck your shoulder blades a little bit under. And then rock your chin to your chest. And then rock the other way. Do that a couple of times. And then find that neutral curve also in your neck. So the neck shouldn't be placed straight down on the floor. There should be space under here. And let's go from here into a little ab crunch. So we're going to keep everything in our spine exactly like it is right now. And we're just going to reach for our heels. So we're lifting up, looking towards the tops of the knees, and then come down. So notice what your spine is doing, just like we did on Monday. And come down. We're bracing through the abs, so there should be no lifting in the abdominals. You shouldn't be pressing your back into the floor, so there should be that natural lordotic curve still. I know we did a lot of this stuff Monday, so I won't go on and on with it again. Don't worry. Let's do 4 right here. Two more. And hold on the up. Again, make sure that the low back is not pressed right on the floor, but you're bracing those abs so there's no lifting across the abdominals. And then lift your knees up. Stacking your knees over your ankles, and take your hands behind your head and just allow your head to rest in your arms. And let the head be really heavy. And then take your knees over to one side, slowly, maybe to the floor, and then up and over to the other side. Getting a little bit more in the obliques. Keeping the elbows wide open. Your elbows can be pressed down on the floor if you like. Keep bracing through your abdominals. Let's do one more on each side. And last one. And lift it up. Place your left foot on the floor and bring your right ankle across your knee. Let your head relax. And then we're going to bring this in. So as you bring this in, remember to keep your knee in line with your hip flexor and your heel. Your foot is flexed, this top foot. You can hold on behind the hamstring if you like. Get into the hips. We're going to do a little bit of hip stuff today, so we'll start with this one. Take another breath. And then release that foot to the floor, and let's take that to the other side. Left ankle is crossing over your right knee. Bring it in, line up your knee with your hip flexor. So right in the very middle of the top of the thighs where your hip flexor lives. Keep breathing right here. And then release. Both feet on the floor. And you can either come over to one side and lift yourself up, or if you like to rock, you can just rock up. And come out into a wide diamond position. So in our diamond position, there's lots of space between the heels and the sitting bones or pelvis. You might be moving your sitting bone flesh away from the sitting bones here, and then coming really tall in your spine. Let's circle the shoulders right here several times. And the other direction. I'm very, very crunchy today. And release right there. And then take your right hand over beside or slightly behind your left hip. Take your other hand and place it on your inner thigh or on your inner knee. And we're just going to press that leg away from us. So you can lean over as you press away, getting a little through the groin and into that inner thigh, breathing with it. Another breath right here. And then release it and take that to the other side. So same deal, either beside or just behind the hip. And then press in. You'll feel a difference one side to the next. It might be a big difference. Might not be. Might be different day to day. It's all good. And then bring it in. We're going to come in a little bit closer so you can lift your hips up and move in. You can come in all the way if that feels comfortable right now. If you have any pain in your knees or if you're tighter in your hips, like your hips are a little high, then you're not going to come in fully. Extend in your spine again, so that nice tall spine. You can hold on under your ankles or your feet. You can use your elbows to press into your inner thighs. Pull open in your chest and breathe. So the main thing here is keeping that really tall spine. If it feels good, you can start to lean into it. Nice big deep breaths, relaxing where you can. And if it feels good to go a little bit deeper, you go ahead and do that. Lengthen your spine on every inhalation and then fold in as you exhale. Let's do 2 more breaths. And then rise up. Let it all go. And let's just cross the ankles and drop ear to shoulder on one side. Every time you exhale, just relax in your shoulders and neck a little bit more. And then roll the head forward and over to the other side. And then lifting the head to neutral. And let's come over and set up for a cat-cow. So on hands and knees, placing your wrist right underneath your shoulders. Taking your knees directly underneath your hips. And then moving into your cat-cow. Inhaling as you move into your cow. And then exhale on your next exhale into cat. Going at the pace of your breath, inhaling when you're ready. Letting the sitting bones and head rise, and then exhale. Moving back and forth at the pace of your breath. Getting as much movement through the spine as possible. And then moving into a neutral spine after your next cat pose. So round first. And then come to neutral. A little bit of bracing in the belly there. Reach your right hand open and then thread behind to come either right down on that shoulder or toward it. Your head can release to the floor if you like. Getting that stretch across the side of the shoulder, the deltoid. Another breath. And then bringing it up by pressing into your left hand, and then we'll switch sides, planting your right hand under the shoulder, reaching open on the left side, and then thread under, and release that shoulder to the floor. Two more breaths here. And then press your hand into the floor, both hands to the floor now. Tuck your toes under and reach your hips back to move to downward facing dog. Let's walk the heels out in this down dog. Think about lifting your sitting bones a little bit higher to the ceiling. Melting your heart toward the floor, shoulder blades dropping down your back. Breathing. And then stepping or hopping your feet to the front of the mat. Keeping the heels sitting bone distance apart. Little bend in the knees or softness in the knees is totally appropriate. We're going to rise up as we squeeze through abdominals all the way up, hands overhead, and then bring the hands to your heart. Take a deep inhale and rise. And exhale over your legs. Inhale to make length in your spine. And then fold yourself together. Step back into a plank pose, alternating feet. Get tight in the abdominals. You're bracing the abs. Come forward on your tiptoes and lower through chaturanga. Elbows stay tucked as you move into your cobra pose. And then squeeze your abs as you reach back into downward facing dog. Press your heels toward the floor. You might take movement again, whatever movement feels good. And then step or hop the feet to the front of the mat. Rise again, inhale. And then exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale up. And exhale over your legs. Inhale to make length. And then fold forward. Stepping or hopping the feet back. Trying to alternate that lead leg and lower chaturanga. Slide to take that cobra pose. And then back it up into your downward facing dog. Squeezing abs. Press into a full down dog. And then step or hop feet from the mat. Rise again. And then exhale your hands to your heart. Up we go. Adding on this time, exhale over your legs. Inhale to make length. And fold yourself together on an exhale. Step or hop your feet back. And lower chaturanga. Elbows tucked to the side. Slide it forward. And back we go. Melting your heart and lifting your right leg up. Bring the knee to the chest and let's hover for a moment and then land the foot. Get low in your hips and breathe. And then release your back heel. You might want to bring it in a little bit and cartwheel your arms to take warrior two. As you come into your warrior two, make sure your knee is stacked right over your ankle on that front foot. You should be able to see that front big toe. Push the back edge of your back foot into the floor really firmly. Drop your shoulders and then flip your front hand up and reverse. Take another breath. And then moving back through your warrior two and come through side angle. Forearm to the thigh or hand to the floor. Reach open with your left arm. Reach high above. Maybe look up at it. And if it feels good, you can reach that arm over your head. Couple more breaths right here. Lengthen even longer. And then bring it down. Hands to the floor. Take the vinyasa if you like, or resting pose, lower if you're coming through, and up into dog, up dog, back to down dog. Left leg rises, pull to the chest, and then land the foot. So you're going to really squeeze the abs to get that foot back down onto the floor. Release, stay in your lunge for a second here. And really get nice and low. And then release your back heel to the floor and cartwheel to rise. Shoulder blades right down your back. Gaze over your front middle finger. Sound your breath. Be long in your spine. And then flip the front hand. Reverse your warrior. Big stretch through the side body. transitioning into side angle pose. Forearm to the thigh or hand to the floor or hand to a block or something else and reach open. You might look up at the hand and you might extend long. Right from the tips of your fingertips to the back edge of the back foot, breathing through that whole side body. And then we release. Turn back to your lunge and then step forward, feet together, top of the mat. Rise up and hands to your heart. Inhale to rise and exhale over your legs. And here we go. Fold yourself together again and then step back. And lower chaturanga, low push-up. I didn't see you come on, Georgia. Good to see ya. And coming through your cobra pose and back it up into downward facing dog. The right leg moves up. Squeeze it into the chest and hover for a moment. Ab work right there. And then pull really tight in your chest to bring that knee up and then land your foot. Let's release the back heel and come up through Warrior Two. Open up your chest, breathe with sound. Get into that front knee, bend it deeply. Reverse your front hand and reverse your warrior. And then we'll come through our side angle pose. If you'd like to come through a fuller version, you can. You don't have to though. Hand can be, or forearm can be on your thigh, or hand to the floor, or hand to a prop. Maybe extending the arm over. Big length. Take another breath right here. And then optional for you, you can reach both arms out to the side. Lots of work in that front leg. Breathe with it. And then turn. So you're in a front lunge now with the arms still reaching. Ooh, I almost fell over. And then hands come down. Vinyasa to the other side. And then your left leg goes up. Hover to the chest. Pull it way up and then land it. Back heel goes down and we cartwheel up. Get really low in your Warrior Two, your Vira Two. Breathe with it. And then reverse your warrior. Same legs. Reach back. Open that front side body. Maybe look up at the hand. No weight on this back hand. And here we go into side angle. Forearm to thigh, hand to floor. Maybe reach it. You might look up. Notice your breath. Nice deep breath, sounding them. And then we're going to bring our hand up. Reach out long, obliques working here. Leg is working hard, and then turn. You might get a little lower here, but the belly doesn't touch. Look down at your foot to lengthen the back of your neck. Hands go to the floor and push off your back foot, feet together, top of the mat. Rise again. And exhale your hands to your heart. Nice deep breath. Inhale up. And exhale. Inhale, lengthening, and exhale, fold. Step or hop your feet back, and lower. Slide for that cobra pose, and back it up. Deep breath there, and then reach your right leg. Bring it in, hover for a second, really tuck that knee up, and then land. Release your back heel and cartwheel. Push down on the back edge of that back foot, front knee right on the ankle, open your chest, gaze over your front middle finger. And let's come through our side angle. We're skipping our reversed warrior today. Reach up long. Try as much as you can to pull your belly tight here so that it might be, even if it's on your leg, that it's not resting on your leg, and then up we go. Reaching, and then turning, get stable, and then we're going to bring our back foot in, so we're really short here. Straighten up in your right leg, and then move into your warrior three. Take another breath, and then bend that front knee, step way back, and come through a high lunge. And release the hands. Step back and vinyasa. Exhale into down dog. Take a moment. Left leg high. And bring it in, hover, and then land. Release that back heel. Up we go, Virabhadrasana 2. Take another big breath right here. And then release forearm to thigh, hand to floor. Arm going up or across, your choice. And then let's open it into that little reach. Remove your belly from your thigh so you're working hard. And then turn. Maybe get really low without the belly really resting there. And then you can go right into warrior three right here, or you can do what we did last time, which was bring it in first, get really stable in that front leg, and then rise. I'm not sure which way is easier, I gotta be honest. Be strong. Another breath. And then just land at the top of your mat. Take a nice deep breath right here. And long exhale. And then we're going to take our left foot, you're going to bring it across your right knee, and then we're going to start to sit into that. Hands can be on your thighs, they can be at your heart, they can be here, wherever feels good for you. Be strong in the belly again, so brace, just like you're waiting for a cannon to land on the belly. And get into it enough that you can feel that nice stretch across the hip. This foot is staying flexed. If you like, you can bring the hands down. Another breath. And then we come back up if you're at the floor, and all up and land the foot. If you need to stretch the foot or roll the ankle, you do that. And then we go to the other side. Cross over the other way, flex this foot, fall in again. Whatever you like with your hands, belly is tight, that's super important, right? Feeling that stretch in the hips and glutes, breathing. If it feels good to come down, you do that. You'll get a deeper hip stretch down here, but if it's too much, you could hurt yourself, so use your judgment. Two breaths. And then we rise again if you're down to the floor, and all the way up and release that foot. Again, you can roll, you can stretch the foot like so, whatever you need to do. And then come up to the front of your mat. Deep inhale and exhale. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Stepping or hopping. And lowering chaturanga. Up we go into cobra and down dog. Reach your right leg high and bring it all the way through. Let's release the back heel again. Get nice and low here into this pose. We're going to take both hands inside the front foot. Turn around. So both hands are inside the front foot. And then we're going to walk the hands out on an angle. So we're going to get as low as we can here. You should feel a stretch in your inner thigh. And then walk your hands out as far as it feels good for you. Let your head be down as well. You're going to feel some work in that front leg, a stretch across your inner thigh on the back leg. And then bring it in. Straighten your front leg, give it a break if you need to. And then bend in again. And then we're going to take our right hand and come behind and turn our back heel up. And you can release your back knee, or you can leave it up, your choice. So we now have our shoulder under our knee as much as possible. I hope you can see that okay. Just get kind of down and juicy here. You might swing the hips like we sometimes do. Maybe come up a bit and then back down into it. And I want you to squeeze your abs, brace them again, and then lift either just your left hand or both hands like you're trying to fly an airplane in this weird position. Take 2 breaths. And then release your hands. Bring them on the inside of the foot again and back up into a hamstring stretch. Lengthen your spine, make it really long. Maybe you fold. And then step it forward. Pick up your back foot, hands down, back we go, lower, rise through cobra, and back to down dog. Big breath right there. Long exhale. And then the left leg goes up. Bring it through. And bring both hands on the big toe side. Release your back heel. We're going to go back into that little tractor pose. So we're taking the hands out on an angle, getting low in the hips, and moving them out to the position that feels good. Push your back edge of your back foot into the floor. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Remember, you want to feel that on your back inner thigh. You'll feel the work across your quadricep and the front leg. And then walk those hands in again. And we're going to take our left hand around and over to the outside of our front foot. So again, you can stay up here if you like, or release the knee to the floor. If your knee is off the floor, it's going to be more work. And we're going to get really tight under here as much as you can. We're going to hang out here for a sec and just, kind of push into the knee, the back of the knee, and get a little lower. Maybe swing it side to side a little bit. And then we're going to fly our planes. So one hand or two hands. We're low and juicy here. Breathing. Getting into the hip, into the shoulders. And then we release. Bring hands to the front, inside of the foot again, and then back up into that hamstring stretch once again. Remember, you're lengthening really long in your spine before any fold happens. And then we come forward. And we pop off that back foot and bring the feet together at the top of the mat. Open your feet just a little bit wider so the outer foot is in line maybe with your outer hip, and hang here. Take a couple big breaths. And then we're going to let the hands come down. We're going to open our feet up to bring our heels about to the mat distance apart. The feet can be angled a little bit here. And then we're going to release our hips and come into Malasana, this deep squat. If you like, you can roll your mat up as much as you want, actually. So you've got a little lever there. And do it that way so that you have some heels on, so to speak. And come into that Malasana there. Getting really long through your back. If that hurts your knees, of course, you stay up a little higher in your hips so you're not so squishy in your knee. We breathe. So I am staying a little higher. We're breathing with sound. Push your hips, your knees into your upper arms, and your upper arms back in to your inner thighs. 2 breaths right here. Release your hands down and lift your hips. Let it all go again. Let your head release. Shake it out. If you'd like to hold on to opposite elbows again, you can do that. You can maybe take your hip over one leg and then over the other leg. And do that a few times. And then release the hands. Open your feet if you've got your mat curled up so that you can unfurl it. And then step back on. Hands come down, back we go, plank pose. Lower chaturanga, slide to take cobra or up dog. And let's come back and open up our knees, toes together, and come into either puppy dog or child. I'm in puppy dog, so my hips are high. Take another breath here. And then come all the way up and plant your hands underneath again. Take your knees under. And let's take our right knee right beside our left knee. So I was here with them lined up basically, and I moved one in Hope you can see that. And then we're going to take the other one and bring it behind. So I'm going to cross here, and then we're going to sit into that cross as much as possible. I'm going to come forward so my feet are on my mat, and we wind up in our Gomukhasana legs. Hope you got there. From what I can see, you got there. So in your legs here, knee is stacked over knee. If that's not comfortable, take your bottom leg and extend it. So then you still have knee crossed over knee, hypothetically. This foot is going to flex, so that might mean your heel is off the floor. That's okay, it might be. Or the toes might come more forward so that you don't have those wrinkles in the ankle. Lengthen up again, nice and tall. And we're going to add in our arms for our cow-faced pose. So let's lift up. The other one comes back. Let's meet behind. Clasping fingers if you can reach them. And breathe with sound. Try and push back through that top elbow just a little bit so it's not crushing into you. If it feels good, you can start to fold into this pose as low as feels good. So if you meet some resistance along the way, then you stop right there. Hold and breathe. If that tension releases, then you can go further until you meet tension again. You can come right over your knee with your chin if that's in your repertoire today. Let's hold for 2 more breaths. And up we go. And we release and roll the shoulders. So we're going to take this top leg and we're going to move it into fire log or half fire log so that the ankle is sitting on top of the knee, not outside the knee. This bottom foot can tuck right into your sitting bone and come in it this way. I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing. And then you can bring it out further. Gives you a deeper stretch so that the shin is stacked over shin. If neither of those are working, again, this bottom leg can extend. Another option, if you had a big book or something, you could put it under your knee to let it rest there. And we're breathing in fire log, Agni Sambhasana. Be really tall once again through that spine. Should be feeling a big stretch there in the hips. If you don't feel any stretch there, you can start to fold. Lengthen your spine, of course, always. And if it feels good, you fold in a little bit deeper. Let's take 2 breaths. Remember, this foot is flexed. Both feet are flexed, actually. And then sit up tall. Let's remove the foot. Extend both legs. Lean into your hands a bit and just windshield wiper your feet, or just shake them out. Your choice, whatever feels best. And then we'll do those couple of poses on the other side. So, starting off, we're going into our Gomukhasana. So, this is my right leg. The other leg tucks under first. I think you were on the same leg as me instead of me mirroring you. Could be wrong though. So, we find ourselves with the top knee the opposite of the last time, stacking knee over knee. Again, this bottom leg can extend out front, and we just have the knee over the straight leg. Both feet are flexed. Remember to check for wrinkles in your ankles. And right here, we're going to extend really tall in that spine. Again, you're going to feel that hip stretch. If you feel nothing, then you start to fold. But let's first take our arms. So one arm goes up, it faces towards the back of the room, other arm comes out, we come down, we may meet in the middle. If you don't meet you probably meet in the middle on one side or come really close on one side and not on the other, that's okay. You can hold on to something in between. You could hold your shirt if you want, whatever you like, or the hands could just be apart, it's all good. It's helpful if your hands are not apart, or are apart, to place your forearm behind your head to keep it back. And then we start to fold. Again, you're finding that point that you resist it, you stop, you breathe, and then you fold in more. Taking long, deep breaths, sounding them out. Let's take a couple more breaths. And then rise on an inhale. Release on your exhale. A little shoulder roll, either front or back, whatever feels good, or both. And then we'll move into our Agni Stambhasana. So this one, our top leg is going to come across on top of the knee, ankle on top of the knee. Flex the foot, no wrinkles in that ankle. Bottom leg can stay right where it is. It can extend out front, or it can come so that your shins are stacked one over the other. Lengthen your spine nice and tall again, and then if it feels good, you start to fold. You'll find one side quite different probably. Keep flexing those feet to protect in the knees. Find the ease in your breath. Notice your shoulders and release them too. Couple more breaths right there. Sitting up on an inhale. And then once again we release the legs. Bouncing or windshield wipering, whatever feels good. And then we'll take Janusirsasana. So let's take the left foot in alongside your inner thigh, your knee, your calf, wherever it feels right for you. Again, if it feels good, you can take something under that knee so it's not hanging out in midair, unless you have a knee that comes right to the floor. Lengthen up in your spine and let's go over this front leg. So there's a very slight twist in the belly when you move into that. Every inhale we get longer through that spine, and every exhale maybe we fold a little bit deeper. One more breath. And then sitting tall. And let's do that on the other side. Janu Sirsasana to the other side. Again, it's that very slight twist toward the straight leg, and then we fold over. Keep lengthening your spine as you inhale. Getting nice and long, and then exhaling to really deepen into the stretch. Another big breath right here. And then we sit up tall again. Let's widen out the legs. Maybe about 90-degree angle in the legs. You don't have to go super wide. You can if you want to. I just scooted myself forward and dragged my flesh forward so that I'm right on my sitting bones now. Toes point straight up to the ceiling, length first, and then fold into Konasana. Again, you're looking down so that you're keeping the length through the back of the neck. You can come to whatever position feels best. You can extend your arms out front. You can bring them in close. You can be up here. Whatever feels good. Try to keep the rounding out of your spine here. And then come up. Right here, I want you to take whatever leg is at the front part of your mat and bend it. Point it to the front of your mat. Take your other leg and bend it behind you, so you're kind of in this position where both knees are bent. We're going to take our hands forward to the front of the mat. We're going to really lengthen and come around. And then if you like, you can stay right here, or you can start to fold into deer pose. You can come right down to the floor or to your hands. If you prefer, you can go into pigeon here. So remember pigeon, we would take this front leg across to the opposite elbow and roll over so that the hips are squaring to the front of the room. So whatever one of those feels real good for you. Let's do one more breath. And then push into the hands. We're going to come all the way up and then switch our legs over however you like to switch. So now your other knee points to the top, or to wherever you like, really. Back knee bends. We're going to come forward and really reach long in the spine and then fold into it. Relax your shoulders. Breathing deeply. Two more breaths. And then we push into the hands again to rise. And let's take both legs out long in front of you. Again, we're going to be right on those sitting bones. toes point straight up, length through your spine, really long in the spine, and then fold right at your hips. So your knees are going to need to be a little bit soft here, right? Fold at your hips, lengthen right through to your cervical spine in Paschimottanasana, or seated forward bend. I'm going to check you guys out here a little closer. Looking good, y'all. And you can slowly release yourself out of that. Think about reaching back and rounding your spine now, all the way up. And then bend your knees and bring yourself down, rolling at the bottom of your spine as you come down to the floor. Bring your feet in just a little bit closer. So maybe you might be able to touch your heels here. If that's not comfortable though, then don't worry about that. We're going to tuck the shoulders under just a little bit, and we're going to reach our hips up, clear across the hip flexor. If you want to take your hands underneath and tuck the shoulders a little bit more, you go ahead and do that. Breathe here. Couple more breaths. And then we're going to untuck our shoulders and come down one vertebra at a time to the floor. So make it a nice, long wind down. And once you get there, move your tailbone up and down so that your pelvis is rocking. Once again, you're going to find neutral in your spine. Remember, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can find your SI joint and your hip bone and line it up straight. Another way you can do this is to place your heels right on your bones here, your pelvic bones, and then place the hands down so that you're on the pubic bone. And then again, just rock and find where they are even on your body, so that if you were to put a level there, it would be even. That little bubble in the level, you know what I'm saying? Either you're going to take your feet out to mat distance and draw your knees together and stay right there, or you can extend your legs long, whatever one of those feels best for you. If you've just extended your legs, I would really love it if you would recheck your back, so either heels and pubic bone, and see if they're still level, or the other method. Okay? And then rock your head side to side. If you need to hold in one position, you go ahead and do that. Reach your shoulders up and squeeze them really tight, and then let it go. Make a fist with both hands and lift both arms from the floor and squeeze, 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 and then let it go. A little shake of the body side to side to just settle in. If you want to rock your chin into your chest like we did at the start, and then open again, and then find that perfect position for you, you can do that again. Or a couple more rocks side to side. We're finding the best things for you right now. And then a nice deep breath, letting all the air out. And let yourself have a couple moments here of silence. begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And taking larger movements when you feel ready. If you need another pose, go ahead and take it. Otherwise, you can bend your knees and roll to one side and use your top hand to push yourself up to seated. Sitting in whatever position is comfortable for you as you rise up. And then we're going to go into our closing prayer, starting with 3 Oms. If you'd like, please join in. Taking a deep breath first. Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. And I'll close with Namaste.